The European Union may be coming to an end. Also, the real estate may have a problem on the size of 560 billion. And if the real estate has a problem, that's bad news for banks from Tokyo to New York. And the war on crypto continues. This time, they're coming after crypto miners on Big Brother style. Also, the tech continues laying off people. This time, it is Zoom. These are the things we're going to be covering in today's video. Without any further ado, let's get straight into the video of today. As usual, we're going to begin with Bloomberg. And Bloomberg's main headline is about how Macron is asking the European Union not to move forward with the Mercosur deal. Now, if you do not know what Mercosur is an agreement, a trade agreement between a few countries in South America, similar to the trade agreement European Union, except that in South America we have 4 countries which are members of that agreement. And those countries are Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. The Mercosur is trying to make a deal with the European Union. What is the deal? The deal is merchandise from Europe goes into South America, into those 4 countries, with less tariffs. Brazil, for instance, have a tariff, a tax on everything that comes from Europe. For instance, if you send an automobile or bicycle, anything from Europe to Brazil, there'll be about 100% tariff, which means the price will double. The same thing for electronics, computers, and so on. Likewise, some products of South America have hard time entering the European market. Now, if the European Union and the Mercosur enter on a free trade deal, that means merchandise from South America, from those 4 countries, would have no tariffs and easier way to get into Europe. Likewise, products from Europe will be able to enter those countries with less tariffs. Now, that agreement is really important for Germany. Germany automobile industry is receiving a hit. The automobile industry in Germany are dropping their sales, and Germany is about to experience a crisis. Therefore, Germany wants that deal to go on because Germany can now reach a new market with cheaper cars. Remember, the cars that come from Germany to Brazil, they come with double price. If those tariffs are being taken off, Germany can now compete with the automobile industry of Brazil and open themselves to a new market, increasing the sales of the automobile. However, France has a lot to lose because Brazil produces a lot of agricultural products, which now are going to compete with the products in France. And as you know, we mentioned yesterday about the protest that is going in France. So France will not benefit from this deal, but Germany may benefit from this deal. Now, in my view, Germany is the main economical pillar for the European Union. So if the European Union does not sign this free trade deal because of France, that is very bad news for Europe in general, because Germany is the main economical pillar for the European Union. Now, Germany wants the deal, France does not want the deal, and there's a conflict between 2 countries within the EU. And the conflict between France and Germany is not a new thing. They are into conflict since the beginning of the last century. Now, another thing that caused animosity between the 2 countries, which precedes, of course, the Mercosur deal, is the euro. I have made videos in this channel explaining how the euro hurts Germany. If you want to find out more about that, link for that on the description below. In my view, the terms and conditions for the European Union are good initially, but does not work all the time. As you can see, this situation with the Mercosur is causing a conflict. Also, I do not believe that one central bank can work with different fiscal policy, and that's going to be the other crack that's going to make the European Union come to a collapse. So I honestly believe the terms and conditions of the European Union Treaty and, of course, the Maastricht Treaty, which gives the birth to the euro, are going to bring the European Union into an end. And I think the animosity that's happening right now is just the first crack. At least those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let me know that in the comments below. Now, the real estate market has a problem on the magnitude of 560 billion. Look at this, a 560 billion property warning hits the banks from New York to Tokyo. What does this mean? What is this article talking about? This article is pretty much talking about the US commercial real estate, which is in trouble since COVID. Because after COVID, what happened is people learned to work from home. In my case, I work from home. I do not need an office. And other companies start to realize that people can work from home. So imagine this, you have a company and you have a lot of employees that work on a computer. Now, before the pandemic, those companies used to do one thing. They used to hire large office buildings and have all workers come into the office and work behind a computer. Now, those companies found out after COVID that people can work from home. And that means less cost for the company. The company does not have to rent an office. It does not have to keep the air conditioning working. It does not have to provide electricity. The workers have to provide themselves with their own working space, with their own air conditioning, and with their own electricity. And of course, they don't have to commute, so the companies are saving a lot of money. And that means that those companies are no longer renting offices. And the problem with office building is it's very difficult to transform office building in apartments or homes. Now, there's about $506 billion that are due to be paid by 2025. Look at this. The US commercial real estate market has been in turmoil since onset of COVID-19 pandemic, but the New York Community Bank Corp and Japan's Oroza Bank deliver a reminder that some lenders are only beginning to feel their pain. The New York Community Bank Corp decisions to slash its dividend and stockpile reserves send its stock down to 38% on Wednesday. The New York Community Bank Corp that they're talking about here is the bank that bought Signature Bank. We made a video about that yesterday. Link for that on the description below. Now, here's what happened. Billionaire investor Barry Stanlich warned this week that the office market is headed for more than $1 trillion in losses due to the pandemic and companies no longer renting offices. Now, for lenders, that means the prospect for more defaults and some landlords struggle. So imagine this, you took a loan and you bought a large office building and you're renting that to companies that are using your office. Now, there's no demand for offices, which means you're not collecting your rent. However, you still have to pay your loan. So that means more defaults. Look at this. This is a huge issue that the market has to reckon with. That is what Harold Borden said. And another thing is, Moody Investor Service said it's reviewing whether to lower the New York Community Bank Corp credit rating. Now, Moody's is a rating agency, and what they do is they rate how good is a credit or how good is any financial instrument. And they're thinking of downgrading New York Community Bank Corp, the same bank that acquired Signature Bank. Signature Bank was a very sound bank. However, the FDIC wants to close that bank or change ownership of the bank because the bank was involved in crypto. And that is just causing the bank to collapse. And there's more to this. Look at this graph. This graph shows how much real estate has dropped in value within the US. And you can see that offices are about 25% lower. Second, apartment minus 12%, and some self-storage properties minus 11%. And when we look at industrial properties, it's just 1% lower. And shopping malls are about 1%. Now, according to this article, it is very clear there's a link between commercial property and regional banks. The thing is, the regional banks have much of their balance sheet made by real estate. In some cases, 25 to 30% of the balance sheet is made of real estate. And the real estate is collapsing. That is bad news for the regional banks. However, larger banks have a lot less real estate on their balance sheet, accounting for about 5%, 1% in some cases. And to illustrate how much devaluation has been there, there's one building that they use as an example in this article. Look at this. The Own Center is the third tallest office tower in Los Angeles and was recently sold for $147 million. And that is about 45% devaluation since the acquisition in 2014. So imagine this. Most people saw real estate as a safe investment. So imagine this. You bought the third tallest building in LA for a price, and now 10 years later when you sell it, you're selling for a 45% loss. So this is the magnitude in which the real estate is being affected in the US. Now the question is, with this kind of devaluation on real estate, what's going to happen when maturation date comes? Banks are going to have no option. They're going to have to sell. Also, the lenders are going to have no option but have to deliver the buildings back or liquidate the buildings because they would not be able to pay their loans, according to this article. And I believe the situation will not change by the end of 2024. And this means, in my view, more small regional banks being closed and being acquired by larger banks. And in the end, you're going to have big fish eating small fish. Big banks are going to eat smaller banks within America. At least those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let me know that on the comments below. That was on traditional finance. Now let's talk about tech briefly before we go into cryptocurrencies. I just want to mention to you that the tech sector continues to lay off people. This time it is Zoom. Zoom, the software that used to have calls and meetings, are laying off 150 jobs just this week. And it's not just Zoom. The crypto space are also laying off. Now, Polygon is also laying off their staff. They reduced by 19% their staff. Now, according to them, they're not laying off because of financial reasons. They're laying off because of efficiency, and they're investing more into AI. Now, let's get into cryptocurrencies. So this time, the US Energy Information Administration are coming after miners on what I call the Big Brother style. They're not saying they're coming to invade your privacy. They're simply painting this picture very beautiful. Look at this. We intend to continue to analyze and write about the energy implications of the cryptocurrency mining activities in the United States of America. We will especially focus on how the energy demand for cryptocurrency mining is evolving, identify geographic areas of high growth, and quantify the sources of electricity used to meet cryptocurrency mining demand. I don't think it has to do anything with the mining demand. I think this is just an invasion of privacy. In my view, the moment you pay for electricity, the moment electricity passes the meter and enters your house, it becomes your own private property, and you should do with it whatever you see fit. I don't think it is the place of the government or the seller or the provider of that electricity to decide for me or to know from me what I'm doing with my electricity. Once I pay for it, that is my private property. I do with it what I see fit. Now, Marty Bent, a Bitcoin advocate and director of mining firm Capture Bitcoin, said on a blog post that the EIA seems to be starting to create a hyper-detailed registry for mining operations in the US. And according to Marty, when I read the press release and the filing, my initial thought was, interesting, maybe this will turn out to be a net positive for the industry. That's what Bent wrote. However, after digging deeper, he called the survey one of the more Orwellian things that has seen to come out of this administration, as it requires very granular data such as specific information about mining fleets and hash rate data. This is pure invasion of privacy. Once you pay for the electricity, it is your business what you do with it. Mining, throwing your toaster, leave your microwave on, heating water, it does not matter. Electricity is a product, and the provider of that product has no rights to know what you do with it once you pay for it and crosses the meter into your home. At least those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let me know that on the comments below. And with this, I wrap up this video. Now, I would like to know what are your thoughts on this electrical surveillance that is coming into the miners. Please let me know your thoughts on the comments below. This is it for now. Please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and above it all, share this video with someone else who you believe can benefit from this. This is it for now. See you guys next video. Kaboom. Goodbye.